Welcome to another episode of the crazy ways I used to think when I was religious. I used to think the Bible was the word of God and it was perfect until I found out it wasn't. Here's what I found out from Google. I found out that the Bible is not a strict, flawless history book. Instead, it is an ancient collection of oral traditions, myths, poetry, and theological accounts. Modern research, archaeology, and textual analysis highlight several historical inaccuracies, anachronisms, and contradictions within the text. Many sweeping historical events described in the Old Testament lack supporting archaeological evidence. The Exodus. Archaeologists largely agree there is no evidence of millions of Israelites wandering the Sinai Peninsula for 40 years, nor is there Egyptian records of this disruption. The conquest of Canaan. The famous collapse of the Jericho walls, as detailed in the Bible in the book of Joshua, is historically challenged. Excavations show the city didn't even have walls during the claimed period. The United Monarchy. The grand sprawling empires of King David and King Solomon are viewed more as local, small scale hill settlements in historical and archaeological records. 2. Anachronisms. Out of place details. The biblical texts often reflect the time period in which they were written rather than the time period they describe. That's weird. The Philistines and camels. The early stories of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob frequently mention them using camels. Historical data shows camels were not domesticated in the region on a large scale until centuries later. Furthermore, the Philistines settled in Canaan long after the era of the patriarchs. 3. Contradictions between accounts. Because the books were written by different authors and heavily edited over centuries, several parallel accounts contradict one another. The death of Judas. In Matthew 27:5, Judas Iscariot hangs himself out of remorse. However, Acts 1 verse 18 claims he bought a field with his reward money, fell headlong, and burst open. The genealogy of Jesus. Matthew and Luke trace the lineage of Jesus through Joseph quite differently. Matthew lists 28 generations from David to Jesus, while Luke lists 41, with almost entirely different names in the lineage. Number 4, gospel time and place errors. In the New Testament, there are several irreconcilable differences in geography and history contexts. The census of Quirinius. According to the Gospel of Luke 2, verse 1 to 2, Joseph traveled to Bethlehem to register for a Roman census ordered by Quirinius, which served as the pretext for Jesus to be born in Bethlehem. Historically, this census took place in 6 CE, while nearly all historians agree Jesus was born before 4 BC, meaning the census occurred about a decade too late to cause the travel. So, I never really found out about the history of the Bible. A lot of people claim that the Bible is the truth, don't even know about the history. They don't know about the Bible. So, how can you just find the truth and claim that the truth is in this book without even knowing the history?